Well, good evening. We're about ready to get started with our meeting. I want to welcome you to the 22nd annual meeting of the Foundation Life Trustees. My name is Mike Gutman, and I've had the privilege of being the president of the board for the last 2 years, and pleased to be the master of ceremonies this evening. And it would be a nice opportunity to reflect upon our success of the past year and to give out some of our grant awards to very deserving programs that have been submitted. And again, welcome to all of you, and glad that you've made time to come out and hear about the good work of the foundation. As we go forward, we'll have some interesting news for you. Earlier, proxy letters were sent out to all of our life trustees, many who live out of state, and some who could not be here. So at this time, I would like to have a show of hands of all trustees who are present here tonight and have not submitted proxies and intend to vote in person. If you could hold your hand and keep it raised so Mr. Yanesi can count them. Thank you, Mike. And Steve, we have a count for the number of voting that have sent in their proxies?
That number is 55.
Great, thank you. Okay, with that, we would accept a motion. I think in the packet for the trustees, there are the minutes from last year's meeting. And so they are there. They've been reviewed by those that received them earlier. And I would ask for a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Thanks, Craig. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Our next order of business is to determine the election of directors for the coming year, and I'll call on Dan Raymer to present the nominating committee's report. Dan.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Piqua Community Foundation Nominating Committee, it's my pleasure to present a slate of recommendations for the board for the 3-year term beginning next January 1, 2016, and continuing through December 31, 2018. And that 6-person slate is Daniel P. French, Randy M. Pearson, Daniel E. Raymer, Stacy P. Scott, Tony Wendelin, and Michael P. Yanesi. And the nominating committee respectfully submits this 6-person slate for the trustees' consideration this evening. Thank you.
All right, Dan, thank you. I now ask all the life trustees voting and present, and then all those casting their votes by proxy, to raise your hands in favor of the nominated slate of officers. We will take account of the hands again. This is one of our official items of business. And of course, if there are any opposed, you may raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, I assume that the slate of officers is unanimously accepted. Great. The secretary then will tabulate the results, and the number voting in favor clearly was 66 voting in favor. Okay, thank you. The motion carries, and those directors will be elected for their term. And I would like to. It was close. And thank you to those board members to help count and cast the proxy ballots, including Craig Mullenbach and Steve Staley. We would ask those all board members to stay briefly after this meeting for a board of directors meeting in the Augusta room. Now it's my pleasure to call on Tony Wendelin, financial guy and our financial guru, to give us some highlights from our year. Tony?
A hard act to follow, that vote that we just had. It was close, I know. It's my pleasure every year just to give you a brief summary of the financial status of the Piqua Community Foundation. It's the third page in your packet if you wish to follow along, certainly. You can get an idea of some of the funds of the foundation and what's new and how things have been going this year. I've got a report for the 10-month period ended October 31st. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster with the investment markets this year, and October being a good month, we had to make sure we brought it up to date through October to make sure we were at least talking about where we are now, in which we are. So if you look at the top three line items, you see the unrestricted funds, and those are the funds, unrestricted funds, that are used to make the grants that what we're talking about tonight. The foundation, in its wisdom at the outset, decided that we would spend 3% of the unrestricted funds each year for grants, and that number has been growing every year as the unrestricted balances have grown. So the unrestricted balances started the year at $2.78 million. Right now they're still at $2.721. We still have our end of year fundraiser yet to go, and so if the equity markets treat us right, we should see an increase hopefully this year in our unrestricted funds. The other thing of note this year is in our restricted funds, in those donor advised funds, donor designated funds, field of interest funds that we are managing for various donors. You do see a couple of new ones towards the bottom where you see a couple of zeros in the first column. That means we didn't have anything at the beginning of the year. The Robert and Miriam Hartzell Scholarship Fund is new this year, as is the Piqua Fund. And if we add about 3 more funds, I won't be able to get this all on one page, but so far so good. So, but you get an idea then at the bottom. Total foundation, $8.569 million to start. We're still at $8.413. Again, pretty close to where we started. The markets have been pretty much flat this year, as most of you know. So not a lot of activity in the appreciation column, and we've had a total of $355,000 in grants go out into the community for various purposes. So I think that's why we're here. So we've been able to facilitate not only the unrestricted fund but the restricted funds, helping a lot of organizations in the community. So far, thank you. So that's a synopsis of where we are. So far, our donations and fundraising efforts have brought in another $250,000 this year to the foundation. We've had a good year of grants and hanging in there. Certainly, we're always looking to grow and assume we still will continue to do that. And we've been here 22 years, and we expect to be here 122 or more. So thank you.
Thanks, Tony. And I think you know how many groups Tony works with and helps with their financial, and the Piqua Community Foundation is no exception. He spends a lot of time tracking all the numbers and the investments. We have an investment committee that meets regularly. We meet with our investment advisors, so we are being good stewards of the money that is being donated to us, and we are glad to report that we've added funds, as Tony noted, and we'll tell you a little bit more about those funds that we've added. But the board does a great job in looking over things and making sure that we're staying in touch with the community and reaching out. We want to make the grants, but we want to also have the funds available to do that. So we appreciate all of your support, and you all help make that possible. As we reflect back on this year, the Piqua has much to be proud of, and we can celebrate the fact that the Community Foundation continues to play an important part in moving our community forward. We have seen the completion of 3 beautiful new school buildings, and we take pride in assisting teachers to promote added school projects through various grants being made. Each year, the foundation makes grants to many organizations in our community whose missions are educational, literary, or charitable. These organizations include the local charities, schools, and outreach programs that benefit our neighbors and our students. Through the gifts that have been contributed to our foundation, generous donors have provided the means necessary for the board to make these distributions 2 times each year, in the spring and again in the fall. In fact, including the grants to be made this evening, the foundation will have made 30 grants this year, which total over $84,000 from the unrestricted funds, as Tony mentioned. In addition, nearly $480,000 has been distributed from the various donor-advised funds that are also maintained at the foundation. And before the end of the year, we expect another $50,000 to be distributed to charities and causes in our community. Other highlights from the past year include 9 new individuals named as Life Trustees for gifts to the foundation which have reached the $1,000 mark or above. We continue to promote our annual giving program, and in doing so, ensure that we will have those funds necessary to make the grants that will benefit and continue to benefit our community. So we're very happy for our annual donors and those that have become Life Trustees, and there's certainly many charter Life Trustees who got the foundation off to a start that are in the room with us tonight. One of our more public events is the annual Cakes for a Cause event, and that's held in April at the Miami Valley Center Mall. Once again, it was very successful this year, and it celebrated the good works of our foundation. It continues to draw interest from throughout the community, including the cake bakers, all those persons bidding on the cakes, and our sponsors. The event this year raised nearly $15,000. And for those who mark their calendars early, next year's event is scheduled for April 22nd, which is a Friday, with the Bakers Party to be held on the evening of April 21st. And you will all receive an announcement early next year. Now you might wonder, how healthy is our foundation? Well, between the additional contributions made to the foundation over the past several years and excellent investment returns, as Tony mentioned, the total funds under management now exceed $8.41 million. So we can be very proud of the accomplishment that we've made in the years and continue to make in the years looking forward as we go forward. You may also ask, is the foundation continuing to add new funds? Yes, we've added 3 new funds since our last annual meeting. The Scholarship Endowment Fund, funding college scholarships, the Robert and Miriam Hartzell Scholarship Fund, which is now under our umbrella, and the Piqua Fund, which was created to spur economic development in the city of Piqua. Yes, the Piqua Community Foundation is healthy and growing. I'd like to now call upon Steve Staley for the part of the evening that we all look forward to, and that's to pass out this fall grant awards. Steve?
Thank you, Mike. Good evening. Each year, can you hear me? Okay. Each year, we take a few minutes at this annual meeting to share with our trustees and directors a story of one of our successful grants. And tonight, we've invited Captain Tim Reisner of the Piqua Fire Department to speak with us about a mini grant received last spring. And with only $500, the fire department was able to build a great piece of training equipment. And Captain Reisner will be sharing some photos that show how versatile this item is and how much it's helped the fire department in their training efforts. Captain Reisner?
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to come here this evening and talk about the grant that we received back in the spring. For that, I just want to give you a little background information about the grant that we received. It was for the construction of a portable firefighter training, survival trainer. And, you know, as firefighters, we're used to saving people. That's what we do. You call on us, and we come rescue you. But what a lot of people don't realize is that every year, about 70 to about 100 firefighters are lost in the line of duty. And out of those 70 to 100 firefighters, about a third of those are lost because they were either caught, trapped, disoriented inside of a fire. So we have a saying in the fire department, and that's everybody goes home. And we wanted to make sure that our firefighters, they get to go home in the evening to their families. So to do that, we have to educate the guys. We have to train them and educate them, especially on fire ground skills. And they have to be the kind of skills, or the training has to be recalled second nature, and they have to be able to do it in a moment's notice. Now, in order to do that, to train those skills, well, we have to have the guys practice bailing out of windows, calling maydays, all kinds of different things. One of the challenges that we have ran into is, as City of Piqua Fire Department, we don't have a dedicated fire training facility. So in order to do that, in the past, we've had to rely on going to houses that are being demolished or abandoned. The problem with that is they're few and far between, and when we do go there, we only get a small amount of time, a small window to do that. We also looked at a nonprofit organization that would come in and train our firefighters, come to our facility, train our firefighters, and bring the props that would be needed. They were more than willing to do that for the low price of $30,000 for 1 week, and they would train 29 firefighters. Well, $30,000 for 1 week for 29 firefighters just wasn't in the budget. So we started, like most people, we started looking on the internet. And what we found was, we found on YouTube, we found a fire instructor who shared the same struggles that we were going through. And he came up with a pretty little innovative device, and you can kind of see it here of our guys working on it. It's a prop, and this prop, for the low cost of $500, would offer us the same opportunities that that fireground survival trainer would, for having them come in for $30,000, and then once they left, they would take the props with them. So I just kind of go over a little bit of what this is. You can see it here, our guys working on it. It's kind of like Legos, probably the best way to put it. It's in different modules. It's made out of mostly plywood and 2x4s. And you can go ahead and you can put, there's the base of it right there. It has a platform, and you'll see that it's a window, and everything revolves around it. Now, there's different sections that can be put together to make this into different modules that we can practice different drills. There's actually 25 drills with just the basic module that we can practice. And that's bailing outside of the windows. Flip here. Practicing if you're trapped in a basement and you're trying to get up out of that basement. You can see one of our firefighters doing that. So there's a lot of diversity in this little simple piece of plywood mechanism. But what it allows us to do is, it allows us at the end of the evening to go home. You can see the guys there practicing putting a dummy through the window. Now, on it, there's other modules that I didn't show you on the pictures here, but there's one that's a roof simulator that you can put on. We can practice cutting the roof, doing all kinds of exercises with that. There's another box component, I think you might have seen a little bit earlier. We can practice in confined spaces getting firefighters out. The great thing about this, if we have some big guys there, big brute guys, if we break a piece, we just go to Home Depot, we get another piece. And so for us, it's been a great thing. We see big things with this. It's portable. We can take it apart. We can store it. All the components are easily stored. We can use it in the wintertime. It's inside. We can use it. Like I said, if we need to store it out of the way, it's not really a big deal. The one thing that's really nice about it, and what helps save lives on this, is we use it for muscle memory. So you can use it just like repetitions, like working out. You can do 5 drills of bailing out the window, 5 drills of putting someone through, 5 drills of doing a ladder bailout. And you can just keep doing it and keep doing it until it becomes second nature to you. And with that, we'd like to thank you on behalf of the fire department for coming to our rescue. So with that, I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Thank you, Captain Reisner. That's a very interesting piece of equipment, and we're honored that we were able to assist the Piqua Fire Department, Piqua's finest, in that effort, and appreciate everything you do for the city. Thank you, Captain Reisner. All right. As Mike said, my name is Steve Staley, and I'm a director with the Piqua Community Foundation, and I'm also the chairman of the Distribution Committee. And the Distribution Committee is comprised of 6 individuals, Dr. Mike Tinkler, Jim Oda, Beverly Pratt, Nancy Johnston, Dan Raymer, and me. And Nancy, Dan, and I are board members, and the other 3 are members of the community. Karen Wendland, our executive director, of course, is active with the committee. She provides a great deal of assistance to all of us in putting together the application packets, talking with the applicants, and certainly providing great insight during our meetings. And for that, we all are very grateful for Karen's work, and we thank you for that. Mike and Mike both indicated that the foundation has been in existence for 22 years, and we're happy to say of those 22, 21 of those years we have been distributing funds from the unrestricted account. And that unrestricted account is identified as the community fund, and on your printout at your table you'll see that's comprised of the community fund, the Sperry fund, and the Donnelly fund. Now, we mentioned how many dollars were given with this year's 2 cycles, but over the span of those 21 years, the unrestricted fund has given $896,000 back to local organizations. And we believe that's a fantastic accomplishment for which we can all be especially proud of when we consider these dollars have truly impacted our local organizations and certainly our schools too. We've been distributing grants twice a year for several years now, and earlier this year at the spring meeting we gathered and those recipients received their monies, and we always invite any or all of them to come back to our annual meeting to also be recognized again. And tonight, I know we have several with us in the audience, and I'm going to introduce them now. And when I do so, I would ask if you would please stand to be recognized. First is Police Chief Bruce Jameson, and the Piqua Juvenile Education Fund, DARE, received monies to provide CO detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, to needy families. It was a very worthy and neat grant. Thank you, Chief. Kitty Lensman and Kay High, I believe, are here tonight from Think TV. Is that right? Are you out there? All right. Well, they couldn't make it, but Think TV was given a grant to assist with their dental hygiene program. Kathy Scarborough, the executive director of the UVMC Foundation, is with us tonight, and the foundation received monies to go towards the support of Rachel's Challenge. We thank you for coming tonight. Ann Hoover and her board president, Stacy Scott, are you here tonight? They represent the Piqua Compassion Network, and our monies help them to redevelop their website. Thank you. And Jennifer Welker, standing at the back of the room, the executive director of Western Ohio Television Consortium, WOTVC, received monies to assist in the purchase of live streaming equipment. And we also thank them tonight also for taping this production. Jennifer assures me that it'll be nominated for an Emmy, a TV Emmy. So watch for the news. Watch for the news on that. It has everything to do with the production. It's a production thing. All right. This fall, the committee reviewed many applications, and as you'll see tonight, quite a few were very worthy and are receiving monies, and it's our pleasure to give you a check tonight. When I announce the recipient, I'll provide a little background of the organization and what the monies will be going towards, a project or a program. And then we'll ask the representative to come forward, and Mike will hand you the check. We won't ask you to speak tonight. You can take your money and go back to your seat. I should mention too, this is something that the foundation really believes strongly in, and that is with each and every grant recipient tonight, we're going to insist that you provide us with a narrative summarization of the project or program for which we are supporting. And for the school projects, we would expect that report to come back by the end of the school year. For those other grant recipients, you'll have 12 months. Now, in your envelope tonight, you'll have a summary report that you may complete if you choose to. If you would rather prepare your own, you're welcome to do that as well. Just make sure all of our answers or questions are answered. We do insist that if you receive publicity for this program or project, that you identify the Piqua Community Foundation as one of those who have supported this worthy cause. And we strongly encourage you to use our logo in your advertising and publicity. Again, that logo will be available in your packet. Karen can also provide it to you electronically. So we appreciate you being here. We are tickled that we can give you these monies to support worthy projects, and we thank you. And I think in the interest of time, I will ask that we hold our applause until the end. And with that, we're going to begin with the standard grants. Eagles Wings Stable, Inc. provides mounted and unmounted equine-assisted therapeutic activities in controlled situations. And they strive to achieve functional goals or functional improvement with children and adults with physical and or mental challenges. Their grant today will allow their certified instructors to attend the National Conference of the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship. And accepting the grant tonight is their director, Kelly Monin. Edison Community College provides learning opportunities that enable and empower citizens, commerce, and communities in Darke, Miami, and Shelby counties. And tonight, 2 different departments of Edison will be receiving grants. The first is the Edison Nursing Department, and the degrees program is accredited by the Accreditation Commission for Education in Nursing and approved by the Ohio Board of Nursing. Edison's program is the primary source of well-trained RNs in the area. And the grant they received this evening will purchase privacy window shades for the nursing lab and classroom. And Jill Bobb, the Associate Program Director, is here to accept. Congratulations. Edison's Child Development Center supports the mission of the college by providing high-quality education and care experiences for the young children of Edison students, faculty, and staff. In addition, they serve children of the entire Edison community and community at large, while also serving as a model for the college students who are studying young children. The grant proposal submitted by their staff is being funded for phase 1 of a project to replace a 20-year-old wooden climbing structure with one made of a safe, maintenance-free material. And accepting tonight will be Alicia Hicks and Holly Olivieri from the Edison Early Childhood Center. Habitat for Humanity works to create decent, affordable housing in partnership with those in need and to make shelter a matter of conscience with people everywhere. The grant they received this evening will support construction and repair efforts in Piqua. And the Executive Director of Habitat Humanity, William Horston, is accepting the grant tonight. Congratulations. LIGHTS, that's an acronym for Ladies in God's Hands Together Serving. And this new nonprofit organization serves the elderly and needy in communities of Piqua and Fletcher, providing a variety of services for at-risk individuals. Tonight they're receiving funding for a new freezer to allow for more storage of perishable items. And accepting the grant is their director, Catherine Yant. And I will mention in the application, Catherine indicates that they are truly out to serve the needy and underserved and have a whole variety of services that they offer with assistance. Thank you. The Lockington United Methodist Church has been operating God's Grocery Giveaway since 2009. And this program provides perishable foods for nearly 100 families each month, and they receive no financial help from any United Ways or state or federal agencies. Their grant tonight will help provide approximately 3 months' worth of groceries, and Patsy Cavender, the grant writer, is accepting tonight's envelope. As many grant recipients have been here in previous years, as has Lockington United Methodist Church, and their application is always one that is looked at very sincerely by the committee. We applaud you on the work you do. The Miami County Dental Clinic is dedicated to providing quality dental care and oral health education, and serves low-income, uninsured, and underinsured populations along with Medicaid populations. They're receiving funding in this grant cycle to purchase educational materials and supplies, and Claire Timmer is here tonight to accept the grant, and she is their executive director. The Miami County YMCA mission is to put Christian principles into practice through programs that build a healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. The Y is planning to provide an age-appropriate play area outdoors for toddlers and older infants near the Alexander Davis Child Care Center. The grant they're receiving will provide funding for Phase 1 of the project, and Shannon Billingstein and Brandy Foreman are here to accept tonight on behalf of the Y.
Thank you.
Piqua Catholic School educates the whole child, entrusted to its care both academically and spiritually by promoting learning, self-discipline, and respect for God and others. Teacher Heather Lewis submitted a grant proposal which would include funding Wi-Fi connectivity for the classrooms downstairs in the North Street building and provide 20 iPad minis for use in reading instruction. And Heather is here tonight to accept the grant. The Piqua Junior High School's yearbook staff will be receiving our next grant. And the yearbook program has a twofold mission: to record the school year in a document that eventually becomes local history, and second, to give students a chance to develop and sharpen skills in photography, layout and design, and journalistic writing. and the grant they received tonight will provide a Canon EOW camera with several lenses, flash, bag, memory cards, and more. And accepting is this year's yearbook advisor, Jenna Krogman. Jenna, yearbook staff, is that a staff of one? Is that basically you? Good.
The students.
The Piqua High School Alumni Band provides financial assistance and other means of aid to support the PHS Instrumental Music Program for grades 4 through 12. And this year, the Alumni Band has applied for and received a grant that will allow them to purchase 3 4-valve euphoniums with cases for use by the Pride of Piqua Band. And accepting the award tonight is the grant writer and member of the Alumni Band, Stu Shear. Stu, how long's the Alumni Band been around now?
Oh, 46 years.
And the oldest in the state, is that right? The oldest organized?
The oldest active one in the state, and I've been in it since the beginning.
There you go. Congratulations.
And along 46, I'll tell you.
You must have been quite young when you graduated. The Upper Valley Career Center is dedicated to providing the highest quality and most technologically advanced educational opportunities for students in a professional, caring environment while networking with the communities they serve. The grant they received tonight will provide funding for early childhood education students to receive Child Development Association certifications. Natalie Heath is the grant writer and instructor, and she's here tonight to accept the grant. Now we're going to move on to the mini grants. The mini grants are a condensed application with the opportunity to receive up to $500. And I should mention too, kind of a plug, mini grants available for teachers have a very brief application, and I would encourage you to tell your colleagues about those opportunities. The first mini grant tonight will help fund a collaboration between His Hands Extended Sanctuary and PERS in Piqua. The project will help address the problem of feral cats roaming in Piqua through a TNR program to trap, neuter, and release the cats in order to combat the severe overpopulation of free-roaming cats in Piqua. And accepting the grant tonight will be Tiffany Pontius from PERS in Piqua. Our next mini grant this evening is being awarded to Lehman Catholic High School to fund activities of the Science Olympiad program. Through classroom activities and interscholastic competition, the Science Olympiad program improves the quality of science education, creates a passion for learning science, and provides recognition for outstanding achievement in science. In accepting the grant, we anticipated Sister Virginia Shear. Sister, did you make it? I don't see you. We will make sure that she receives her check. The next mini grant goes to Piqua Catholic School. They're receiving one that will benefit the music program, including students from kindergarten to 8th grade. The grant provides for the purchase and installation of a portable air conditioner to provide climate control for musical instruments. This will eliminate problems with musical instruments' pitch and physical conditions brought on by excess heat and humidity. Rachel Owen, the music teacher, wrote this mini grant proposal and will be accepting tonight. Our two last mini grants will be awarded to Spring Creek Primary School. The first mini grant will allow students at both Spring Creek and Washington primaries to take part in the Presidential Physical Fitness Test in the spring of 2016. It will provide fitnessgram tools to assess and store data on the aerobic capacity, muscular strength and endurance, flexibility, and body composition of the students. And Jennifer Smith, the physical education teacher, is accepting tonight's grant. And tonight's last mini grant will provide first, second, and third graders at Spring Creek with Social Studies Weekly for this school year. This 24-week fully colored weekly magazine comes with an online version and professional development videos for teachers. And grant writer and teacher Jackie Thace Birch will accept tonight's award. And yes, folks, this is the same weekly reader that many of us had many years ago. Let's recognize tonight's grant recipients with a round of applause. Thank you. Job well done. And we look forward to seeing future grants from all of these organizations. I do need to remind those receiving grants tonight, we don't have to have the spring recipients stay, but we do ask all of tonight's recipients to wait for just a few minutes after the meeting, and we want to take a group picture out in the ballroom. This concludes my portion of the program. I turn it back to Mike.
Well, you can tell that Steve enjoys this aspect of the foundation's work, and he has done the grant committee, or led the grant committee, for many years. And I applaud Steve and his committee for the excellent work they do. They really conscientiously look at the grants. They try to maximize each grant's potential by fulfilling their request, and then also looking at the mini grants. So they do an excellent job, and Steve, we want to thank you and your committee. Now we have an announcement that we don't always get to make. This is something new for the Community Foundation. Put my glasses on so I can read it properly. The foundation is proud to announce a new Community Service Award to be presented for the first time in 2016. These awards will be named after longtime Piqua civic leaders Scott J. Hinch and Margaret W. Hinch, and they will be called their Community Service Awards. But just for a little background, since some of you may not have known them, Scott served as trustee for the Piqua Memorial Medical Center and the Upper Valley Medical Center for 49 years, serving as the Piqua Memorial Board Chair for 13 of those years. He organized the Miami County Society for Crippled Children and Adults, which became Easter Seals, in 1947. So that goes way back. And he served as the chairman of the unit until it became a statewide organization. He was director and trustee of the Miami County YMCA. He volunteered for Meals on Wheels of Piqua, the Piqua Improvement Corporation. He was a member of the Piqua Rotary Club, Edison State Community College Nursing Advisory Committee, and the American Legion Post number 184. His wife, Margaret, was no less active or involved in Piqua. Margaret was a longtime Girl Scout leader who served many years on the Board of Trustees of the Buckeye Trails Girl Scout Council. She was a charter president of the PTA of Nicklin Avenue School. She was active in Meals on Wheels of Piqua, the Piqua Memorial Hospital Auxiliary, and was a trustee of the Flesh Public Library for over 43 years. So these awards, Scott and Margaret's family are going to work with our foundation to establish these new awards. They will receive volunteer service, or they will recognize, volunteer service to local organizations either in Piqua or Washington and Spring Creek townships. Nominations are made to the local charitable nonprofit organization on a streamlined form that highlights the nominee's service for the previous year. So volunteer service this year would be honored for the first time in 2016. A special feature of these awards is that $1,000 grants will be presented to the organization that nominates the winner of each award. And I'm pleased to recognize and ask that they would stand. John and Marcia Hinch are here, and they're present tonight. We want to thank them for their generous plan and recognizing Scott and Margaret in such a great way. I know many people in the room have known Scott and Margaret over the years, and what wonderful people they were and what they brought to the community. My parents are here, longtime friends of theirs, and I was privileged to know and work with Scott over many years. And John and Marcia, thank you again. We're glad that you're back in our community and glad that you're providing these service awards, which will be very well deserved. So we'll look forward to more news about that coming probably early in the year or in the spring. There will be an announcement regarding how these will be announced and chosen. To conclude my remarks, I just would like to acknowledge then again that the addition of these funds shows that the foundation is truly vital, growing, and continuing our twofold mission to encourage charitable giving that benefits the residents of Piqua and to provide a variety of methods to help local donors meet their charitable giving goals. Before I conclude, I do want to recognize Karen Wendland. Karen, without her work, her dedication to the Community Foundation, we could not do what we do. Steve Staley's committee has greatly helped the grant writing. Karen does a fantastic job, and I just each year like to recognize her efforts on behalf of the foundation. So Karen, thank you. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I know we have maybe another announcement. Cheryl Burkhart, our incoming president, could not attend, so I'm going to call on Mike Hannessy to make a presentation.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
I had heard from this table that they went alphabetically before they'd find somebody that would handle this part of the meeting, but indeed I'll assure you it is my honor. And while I'm not easy on the eyes like Cheryl, I will explain to you that in her anticipation of becoming president of the foundation, she is on stage at Saturday Night Live in hopes of being their host this coming Saturday. So she is unable to be here, but I am here in her stead, and I do consider it an honor. It is an opportunity for us to recognize your leadership. And Mike, many of us know you well enough to understand how humble you are, and you would be quick to deflect any acknowledgement to Karen, the board, the community, to others. But indeed, you need to accept some appreciation on behalf of those people. Because not only does the community benefit as we all try to affect change, you are indicative of the characteristics of this foundation. And what is not as evident are the generations that will follow what we do this year. And you served 2 years, and we appreciate that continuity. The foundation is in better hands with you having been at the helm. Your leadership was appreciated. Cheryl appreciates the stead in which you leave the foundation for her reign. So I would offer just a genuine, very sincere thank you to you for what you have done for this foundation and the community. Please accept this as just a symbol of our appreciation.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, As people say, everyone takes a turn, and so it was my turn to have served for 2 years, but it was really a pleasure, and it's a great board to work on, and it is very rewarding to see to be able to distribute grants and to benefit so many local groups that do so much good work in Piqua and our surrounding areas. So once again, a couple reminders. We'll have those folks that receive grants this evening stay for a few minutes for a photograph. Our board members will meet briefly in the Augusta room for a brief meeting. And again, I want to thank everyone that came out this evening to support the foundation, to share your stories. Captain Reisner, thank you. And for all of you that have come this evening, thank you and have a good evening.